What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you guys are having an amazing day. So, Karen Huger, y'all, she has been sentenced to 2 years in prison, 1 year of a suspended sentence, which means that she will be in jail for a year. And they remanded her into custody today, y'all. Karen Huger is in jail. And y'all remember what she told Ashley Darby when she said clankety clank, clankety clank? She said, tell Michael Darby not to drop the soap. And I'm like, you know what? I have been learning a whole lot watching these Real Housewives shows. Child, I'm like, let me not be reckless with my mouth because I feel like a whole lot of housewives have been rotating in and out of prisons. A lot of these reality stars, whether it was Jen Shaw from Salt Lake, Teresa Giudice from New Jersey, now we have Karen Potomac. I'm like, child. Anyway, let me go ahead and get into this story because Miss Karen is in prison right now. Shout out to the We Go podcast. She actually took her phone into the sentencing, the hearing today, and she said that even though cell phones weren't allowed, she was able to sneak and give us some insight into the courtroom proceedings. So I'm going to read just really quickly what she wrote on Twitter. So she said that, Karen was allowed to speak, so she did testify, and Karen apologized for bringing this to trial. She said that she was arrogant and thinking that she could handle her alcohol. And she also said that the judge was reading Karen for filth. And I feel like at this point, with her fourth DUI, I feel like, the judge was put in a position where they were unable to, like, their hands were tied, basically, right? Like, he was not able to, you know, um, minimize these actions. One, because, Karen is such a prominent figure. She's a public figure on Potomac, but also the body cam footage, I feel like, is what really cemented the deal. So the judge was reading her for filth, according to We Go podcast, and said that, Karen is no stranger to drinking while driving on the roads. And one would think that in 2007, that Miss Huger would have learned her lesson, and in 2008, before the ink was dry on the other DUI, she was arrested again. So the judge was, fed up. And they have an obligation to keep the public safe from Karen and her negligence and her actions. So the judge also said that they thought that the rehab that Karen went into was more like a summer luxury resort. She was riding horses, she was like doing her thing there. But the judge sentenced Karen to 2 years with 1 year of suspended sentence. And Karen has 30 days to appeal his decision and 90 days to ask the judge for reconsideration to get him lower it. But to be honest, I don't think that that's going to happen. And she was she was taken into custody. She was remanded into custody right now, and I feel like that's what Rihanna. You guys remember she brought her two kids to court to see ASAP Rocky, and when they asked, why she brought the kids to the courtroom, it was, this was Rihanna's greatest fear, right? She thought that ASAP Rocky could have been remanded to custody that same day, like they did Karen. But while Karen was being taken into custody, she yelled out to Ray. She said, "I love you, Ray. God's got you. You'll be all right. God bless you." And my heart does go out to Ray, right? I mean, they're both older, they're both elderly, but Ray is significantly older than Karen. I feel like he, wanted to move to Florida. He wanted to, have a quiet life in his golden years. He did not want all of this hoopla. And I feel like Karen was so caught up in being, this grande dame of Potomac, and it ended up costing her her freedom, her integrity, her respect. it's hard to see her fall from grace. She blamed. I think she said that her position as leadership um, on Real House of Potomac being the Grand Dame. She blamed that as a stressor for her, and I'm like, that was in my mind that was her own like making, like that was a real position or title. That was something that I feel like she gave herself. Um, it was the body cam footage, though. I really feel like, I mean, between her calling herself Thomas Jefferson's concubine and calling that, she called that cop poor and white. I'm like, like it's not funny, but it's just, it's her saying, she was the grand dame of Potomac. She kept asking him if he knew, who she was. She has had this bigger than life, grandiose persona that obviously did not serve her well in the end. But let's go ahead and get into this article. So it says Karen Huger was back in the Montgomery County Circuit Court on Wednesday, February 26th, where she was officially sentenced to 2 years in prison with 1 year suspended for her ongoing drunk driving case. The Real Housewives of Potomac star 61 was dressed in all black, and her husband of 28 years, Ray, was by her side. She will have to serve 5 years probation. She has 30 days to appeal the judge's decision and 90 days to ask the judge to reconsider his order. While being taken into custody, Huber told her husband, "You will be all right. God's got you," a source on the scene tells People. People have reached out to Huber's rep for a comment. Huger was arrested in March 2024 after a single vehicle crash into a street sign 3 miles from her house. Body cam footage later released from the scene showed a visibly intoxicated Huger stumbling, slurring her words while speaking to police, the quote unquote grand dame invoking the names of everyone from her housewives boss Andy Cohen to the deceased President Abraham Lincoln, in the process to admitting to having a couple beers. Hold up, did they mean Thomas Jefferson? I don't know. I didn't watch like the whole body cam footage, but I do remember she referred to herself as Thomas Jefferson's concubine. I don't know if she meant descendant, or like I said, maybe she was just that intoxicated. She said it was concubine, but I don't remember anything about Abraham Lincoln. They might have mixed up the presidents. Anyway, she was officially charged with a DUI and a DWI, negligently driving a vehicle in careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person, as well as recklessly driving a vehicle in a wanton and willfully disregard for the safety and persons and property. Other charges include failure to control vehicle, speed on the highway to avoid a collision, driving a vehicle in excess of a reasonable and prudent speed on the highway, driving a vehicle on the highway with a suspended registration, and failure to notify administration of change of address within 30 days. That was another thing that got me. Like she had all these registration and administrative, you know, negligence. I was like, Karen, why aren't your papers up to date? But maybe that's why. I don't know. It says, although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we of course respect their decision and appreciate their time hearing our case. Huger's then attorney, A. Scott Bolden, told People in an exclusive statement at the time. You guys remember she fired her past attorneys. I wonder if she regrets that decision now, but we continue to reserve Ms. Huger's right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. We appreciate your support and prayers for Mrs. Huger and her family at this time. Then in January, Huger entered into a private recovery program in Florida that she later explained was to get to the bottom of her taking antidepressants and drinking. The visit meant that she couldn't attend the taping of the Real Housewives season 9 reunion, and that she had to have her sentencing pushed back which also replaced her legal team. Yeah. Surprisingly, Huger did appear at the reunion in the form of two videos, one taken the day of the sentencing, and another after she made the decision to enter rehab. The first video featured Huger getting candid about her relationship with alcohol, insisting that she did not have an issue. She says, "No, I am not an alcoholic, let's be clear." She says, she told her fans, "Do as I say, not as I do." Asked about her reaction to the verdict, she says, "My heart dropped." She says, "This is very frightening, but I accept full responsibility for everything that went on with my car accident," noting that it was her family is her first priority during this time. She says, "I don't care about me right now. I care about my children. I care about my family. They are so hurt." Later, Huger thanked some of her past and present castmates for their support. Cohen got a shout out too, with Huger telling him, "Your notes meant the world to me. They were always on time." Huger ended her message by noting that even though she's known as the Grand Dame, she plans on coming back just as Karen Huger only. She says, "Because Karen is enough." Her words brought co-star Giselle Bryant to tears. Bryant said, "That is my friend. I've heard too many things to count of Karen doing these kind of reckless things. My prayer has always been that she needs to get help, not in a shady way, not to tear her down as a person. She's a beautiful person, and that makes me feel like, okay, she really realizes it." Earlier this month, Huger's new attorney, David Martella, opens up to the Washington Post about a profound impact that this has had on Huger, noting that the trial itself was a wake-up call. She was shocked with embarrassment, noting that since her return from her 28-day treatment center, Huger has been active in Alcoholics Anonymous. But prosecutor Jordan Kramer reportedly noted in his filings obtained by the outlet that Huger has 3 previous alcohol-related traffic cases between 2006 and 2011, including one where she was found guilty while driving while impaired, and another in which she was found guilty for driving under the influence. Okay, and that's where the article ends. So I will say this: I'm hopeful. Karen's 61. Wow. So I'm hopeful that this year away will allow her to a couple things, right? To come to terms with who she is as a woman, as a person, her identity. Like she said, she's done with the whole Grand Dame persona. I hope that she has the resources, the Montgomery, I think, jail that she's in. I hope that they have, like a counselor, good therapist there, a good psychologist there that she can talk to. She can work through that. I hope that Ray and his family is going to be okay. A lot of people were suggesting that possibly he moved to Florida, you know, to retire. Um, I don't know. I don't know if, you know, um, we don't know if whoever was, if there was somebody, I think they said that somebody, uh, um, was, I don't want to say escaped, but left her during that crash. Some people were speculating it was Blue Eyes. I think Ray said that it might have been their trainer or bodyguard or whoever it was. But I hope that their relationship can withstand her being gone for a year. I hope that her children are going to be okay. Um, and overall, I hope that, Karen can get to the bottom of why she was taking the antidepressants in the first place, while she was taking them while she was drinking alcohol. And I hope that she can get to a place where she doesn't need either. Um, but, you know, I hope that she can, not only dry out and get sober, but she can come to a place of healing and restoration and come out a better person. But anyway, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.